Hey, this is David Robertson running for State House District 97. That district is in the northern part of Jefferson County, includes the communities of High Ridge and Murphy and just south of Fenton. I'm going to be talking about an important issue for the state of Missouri. But before I get into that, very important global events taking place in the Middle East involving Iran, Israel, the United States, and other countries in that area. I just want to say, being our military personnel or our soldiers in our prayers, and we want to keep them safe and know that God is protecting them. I also pray for the many American citizens who are in that part of the region of the world. They're not able to fly out. A lot of them have had to evacuate certain areas. And just more generally, too, I pray that for the lives of everyone living in that part of the world, because I want to see as little suffering and harm for all of humanity in general, all the people in that area. So the very important issue I want to talk about tonight in regards to state of Missouri is the initiative petition process in our state. So the way this currently works is this is the way we amend our state constitution in Missouri. And currently, a simple majority vote, 50% plus one, and amend the state constitution. And that's done through a ballot referendum petition. This is a very important topic, and I believe this system needs to be reformed. I think it's destroying our state. And so I want to talk about some different aspects of that initiative petition process and how it could be reformed. Currently, you can amend our state constitution through a simple majority vote. That has given us some very bad things, I think. One of those is Amendment 3 passed last year, which gave us full-term abortions. It gave us transgender surgeries in that amendment. It's given us the legalization of marijuana. It's given us sports betting. In fact, these initiatives passed by very slim margins. Like, I think the sports betting passed by 0.1%. Marijuana and Amendment 3 passed by just 1 or 2%. So it's certainly not a case where the vast majority of Missouri citizens are supporting these things. And yet they not only become state law, but they're actually amended to our state constitution. And so the issue I have with that is that process is, if you think about the way we amend the U.S. Constitution, that requires 2/3 of both houses and 3/4 of the states to ratify. So that's a pretty high bar for amending the U.S. Constitution. And there have been many amendments made, but I think that high bar is there with a very good reason. It shouldn't be easy to amend a constitution for the U.S. government or the state. I think Missouri's constitution is way too easy to amend. If you look at Amendment 3, there's 114 counties in Missouri, or 115. Amendment 3 passed in 7 or 8 counties. So you have something like 106 counties rejected Amendment 3. 8 of them voted for it, and yet it became a state law and amended to our Constitution. That certainly doesn't seem like the will of the people. If you look at Florida had a similar amendment to Amendment 3, the same time frame as we had ours. It was doing the similar thing with legalizing a full-term abortion. That got 57% of the vote in Florida, yet didn't become state law because Florida has a threshold of 60%. Yet Missouri has a threshold of 50%. So I would like to reform our initiative petition process to raise the bar to something that's equivalent to the bar for amending the federal constitution. And what's happened here is a lot of groups, especially left-wing groups, have realized the initiative petition process is a great way to circumvent the legislature. They realize with Republican supermajorities, they can't get a lot of their agenda passed through the Missouri legislature. So what they do instead is they create these initiative petitions. You might have run into some of these folks down at the grocery store getting signatures for various initiative petitions. Once you get a certain threshold, then that petition goes on the ballot. But the issue here is they're circumventing and hijacking the Missouri Constitution. These initiative petitions are often have confusing wording. They're lengthy, and so it's not clear to the voter what these are actually doing, and that's intentional. They're trying to obfuscate their true intention with the initiative petition process, because if they actually told you what it was doing, that maybe people wouldn't vote for it. And another issue with our initiative petitions is there's a requirement in the state that they have to be single subject. So if you're answering yes or no to an initiative petition, how can you answer a simple yes or no to something with multi parts? Because you might support one part but not support another. So there's a requirement that they be single subject. That has been ignored. So a lot of these initiative petitions have many subjects to them, and yet they're allowed to to go to the ballot. I strongly feel the Secretary of State should disqualify a number of these initiative petitions because they were not single subject. You also have an issue with a large amount of foreign money gets filtered in to try to pass these initiative petitions. It's amazing to think about that a Swiss billionaire donated something like $4 million for pro Amendment 3 advertising, the previous Amendment 3. And that was more than all the advertising spent against Amendment 3. So it bothers me that not only people outside the state of Missouri, but people outside of our country are having such a massive influence on the initiative petition process in our state and the way we amend our Constitution. That seems wrong to me. I think we should ban all foreign money. And I know there are bills there's a bill that Senator Ben Brown supported that would limit the amount of foreign money, but we need to make sure we don't have foreign influence dictating what happens in Missouri. I want to talk about another issue, and that's the quote, will of the people. So I've knocked a lot of doors, and a frustration from some of the folks I talk to, and I think their motives are sincere, is they feel like what happens is they vote on an initiative petition, and then the state legislature reverses or alters what they voted on. And they're frustrated because they say, well, this is the will of the people, and you guys are you're trying to subvert the will of the people. And, the answer I have to that is a little bit nuanced. So I am all for the will of the people. Our system of government, all the power in our system of government derives from the people themselves. But the important question is, how is the will of the people expressed?